My name's Bob Denny. I'm a pesticide applications contractor based in mid-Sussex. I'm now just going to run through some of the safety equipment that we would use when we're out working, and also some of the equipment that we would use for controlling things like Japanese knotweed. First of all, you have a spray suit. We would use a face visor to avoid any spray or contamination to our faces and eyes, very important. And a mask for when we're working in a situation where we're spraying above head height. Last but not least, we'd obviously use a robust pair of rubber gloves. I'm now going to talk briefly about just 3 products that we would use typically to control Japanese knotweed. One of them is this one, which is called Roundup. This one's named Samurai. That's not its trade, or it's its trade name. It's actually glyphosate 360 grams per litre, and is the professional product of choice that we would use. Another one is a product called Cascara, which contains 3 herbicides in there. It's very, very strong. It's applied at a very high rate and it works extremely well. A third product is this one called Icade, which is a product of choice for local councils which are trying to destroy Japanese knotweed along the sides of the road. Okay, as far as the equipment goes, if we're wanting to spray sort of fairly large areas of infestations, we would use something similar to this, a knapsack with, in boom, which is a middle range. It'll reach areas of approximately 3 meters in total, and it's adjustable and extendable. Once it's pressured up, just a small squeeze on the trigger and the product will come out of the nozzle. Okay. Over here we have a stem injector kit, which is basically a reservoir which would be filled with glyphosate, and a needle which will be used for injecting straight into a stem. Now the needle's actually got a hole underneath, so it's ported so that the chemical can actually be sprayed straight into the root system. And what we do is we inject at the lowest nodal point, straight through the stem, just apply a couple of squirts, and that has a brilliant effect. And it's also ticking the environmental box because there's little or no contamination outside the stem area. Another method that can be used by members of the public at their own risk, I might add, is you cut the stems of the live plants down as low as you can. Use a sharp implement to open the passage up into the root system. Introduce a funnel and just pour neat glyphosate straight into the root. These chemicals are labelled as systemic, or they're described as systemic, so they work through the root system. Whether they are introduced via the leaves or directly into the root, they have devastating effects on the plant population. And what I would expect to see after 2 weeks are the leaves starting to go yellow and brown around the edges. If that's the case, then I would assume that the treatment is actually working and revisit the site the following year to make sure that everything has died off. Once the Japanese knotweed has been treated and it's dying off, we would expect the habitat surrounding the area to be rebalanced within a year or 2. If you'd like to get in touch with us, the best way of doing it is to Google Japanese knotweed control, West Sussex, and R&D contractors comes up on the first page, or you can email me directly on robertdenny135@gmail.com and I will respond within 24 hours.